We have been parked for 3 months, and tomorrow is moving day. So is everything packed and ready for travel?
No, but that's what tomorrow's for.
Guess what we're doing the rest of today?
I'm sitting here reading a book. I don't know what you're doing. But I guess we can start packing.
It's time to clean and pack, get ready to hit the road. We have been park hosting at Goliad State Park in Goliad, Texas for 3 months now, and tomorrow is moving day. We are headed over to our next assignment at Mustang Island State Park, and that means we need to get things prepared for travel. So we're going to go through the rig, we're going to take down knickknacks, we're going to put away things that might fall while we're towing the rig down the road, and as we're doing that, we're going to go through and do a deep clean as well. It's a really good time to take care of any dust and stuff that's blown in the windows while we have been here. And that is for the inside. I have already been working this week on the outside, tearing down our screen tent, putting stuff away in the van that needs to be stored in the van, that sort of thing. And then tomorrow on moving day, we'll actually do the final hookup, pull water, sewer, electric, all that kind of stuff. But today is going to be all about getting the inside ready. Now, some people might wonder, why do you wait till the last minute? Well, we're living in this trailer. We're not just camping. And so we want to have things looking the way we want them. And quite honestly, when things are taken down and put in place for travel, it can be in the way. And that's just obnoxious when you're in a small space. So we leave everything set up as long as we can and then tear it down basically right before we're ready to hit the road. We don't actually have to remove every single picture and every single knickknack that we have in order to go on a travel day, because over time we have found a couple of tricks that work really well. Command hooks, but particularly command strips, those are the Velcro strips, are really handy when you're living in an RV. We have this lightweight National Parks poster. This frame is held up with command strips. It has not moved since we've put it up there. We have other lightweight photos that are up there with the command strips, and those have held through hundreds, if not thousands of miles. So I'm comfortable with that. The other thing that we use is something called museum putty. And this is something that you might consider getting because you can use it on lightweight knickknacks. I wouldn't use it for anything heavy. I wouldn't use it for anything that is, super breakable or is going to shatter into a million pieces if it were to fall. But we have little fun knickknacks like these little office characters up here that, to take them down and put them back up every time you stop would be kind of annoying. So I've got them stuck up there with museum putty. Again, they have not moved at all. Another thing you can do is combine efforts. So we have some of these small pictures here. They're actually hung with command strips at the top. But because of the style of it, the design of it, the command strips didn't really want to fit real well on the bottom. And so I have added museum putty to the bottom of the frame. And so I've got command strips on the top, museum putty on the bottom. And that way they're held on tight with the command strips, but they're not going to bang around because that museum putty is holding them to the wall. So there's all kinds of things that you can do to limit the amount of time and efforts you have to use when you're trying to prepare for a travel day. And we learned over time, not just because of being park hosts, but just because there are times when we have traveled more frequently where maybe we are only down for a couple of days or we're down for a week in one location and we'd like to have some knickknacks and we'd like to have some decorations up, but it was too much of a hassle to try and do that all the time for regular travel. And so we've come up with these little tricks that we use and thought you might find them handy as well.
One tip for packing that we utilize is can koozies for anything that's breakable, like candles or olive oil or vinegar bottles or anything else that we just might not want scratched in transport. So just quick slipping these on and then tucking them in a cupboard keeps them safe and sound during travel.
It's kind of a prime example of what we said before of repurposing stuff in ways you wouldn't think of, right?
Yes, and since we seem to collect these everywhere we go, like they're an easy giveaway at whether it's like at a wedding or a festival or a conference or anything. So we have a crap ton of these and we just keep them stored and then we use them all around the RV. We really try hard to use as much plastic in the RV as possible because it's non-breakable, but it's really hard to get away from glass bottles, especially like with olive oils and vinegars. And that's where the can koozies come into effect. Every single one of our bottles has its own little cover, and that way they don't get banged around. And we just leave them on all the time anyway, whether it's for travel or not. It's just that way as I, bring things in and out of the cupboard, I'm not banging them around. And, and it works really good. So we've got all sorts of different styles of ones, but they all fit in here really nicely. Whether you're a weekend warrior or a full-time traveler, everybody usually has some sort of decorations. And we like to decorate because, especially when we're gone for so long and this is our home, we like to make it feel homey. So we have knickknacks and pictures and things all over the place. And Ari would probably argue that we have too many things all over the place. And yeah, we have to move them for travel. But it feels more like home when you have stuff. So whether that's, a picture of Michigan or some, whoops, actually need a frame for that. We haven't hung it yet. But we've got that. We've got some flamingos. We've got pictures on the wall. We bought a new little wind chime, decorations, all over the place from places that we visit. Then it also helps, like, it's souvenirs, and so we can use those to decorate. But it just makes it feel more lived in and homey when you've got those things scattered around the RV. So yes, it can be a little bit of a pain sometimes, and we have to move things around, and the Kleenex box gets set up here and in the way, but it still feels like home and it's fun, especially when that is our souvenirs. And so it reminds of all the places that we've been. One of the biggest things for travel days is the kitchen, because when you're set up, everything's just out, whether it's the air fryer, or the coffee pot, or the dishwashing soap, the knives, the utensils, and then, anything from like our plates and bowls and our pots and pans are just here. But when we travel, we have to make sure that everything is put away and nothing's going to like bang against each other, or this handle has been known to like swing inside and then we can't open the drawer. So we have to systematically go through all the drawers, all the cupboards, all the coffee pots and the coffee mugs and everything, and make sure it's not only secure but also protected, whether it's with more can koozies or it's with towels in between each layer, or whatever methods that we kind of use to corral and protect all of our stuff. So that's what I'm going to be sitting here going through for the next few minutes, is trying to just systematically go through every drawer and every cupboard and make sure it's all tucked away and protected from each other, so that we don't get to our destination and have broken bowls like we did on one trip. So one of the first things we did when we got our Airstream was install this handy dandy magnetic knife rack, and it is amazing and we love it. And when we're parked, all the knives are just here and they're quick and easy to grab when we're ready to cook. But when we travel, we take them down. And I know that's a little bit of a controversy among people who have these racks, because a lot of people just leave them up while they travel, and they said their knives have never moved. We just don't trust them. And I suppose if we took them out of their sleeves and we just did the knife, to the board, maybe they'd stay. But I still don't feel it's that sturdy, and I just don't want knives throwing around my RV and landing on the floor and causing who knows what damage. So anyways, that's one of the things we always have to remember to do, is take the knives down and store them safely in the drawer before we leave. And we have left one or two up before, and it's not the end of the world, but I'm just not taking any chances.
That's a really good point about you saying we had to remember to pull the knives down. And I think that's trickier when we've been parked for longer. We've been here for 3 months. And so walking through the rig and saying, okay, let's not forget anything, stuff has just become sort of normal. Like, that's where it's supposed to be. And it's easy to walk by something like that and just forget that that's supposed to come down on purpose before you travel, as opposed to accidentally later.
Yeah. And we're not going that far on this trip, so I'm assuming they'd probably be fine. But again, it's just not worth it. And so you have to be extra diligent about, yeah, you're right, walking around and like literally looking at every single thing on your walls and hanging up and being like, okay, does that stay there during travel, or do I have to remove that? Is that stuck down with the putty, or is that free floating? Like, so that's really what we're doing today, is just double checking, triple checking all of those things. And I'll do it once, you'll do it once, we'll both do it again together, and just make sure that by the time we roll out of here tomorrow, everything is secure and where it's supposed to be.
Well, and I think I mentioned earlier in the video that, we're also doing sort of a deep clean as we do today. And one of the reasons I do that, we clean the rig more than once every 3 months, but doing a deep clean like that and having to move stuff to get underneath it or behind it is really helpful, because then you pick something up to clean and you're like, oh wait, that's not attached.
Yeah.
It needs to be put away.
And I actually just realized, I'm not even going to admit that the top of this knife rack is really dusty, but it's been so dusty here the last few days, and it comes in through the fans, and I don't know how many times we've wiped these down, and it's just within hours it's got, particles on it again.
One of the beautiful things about an Airstream is you have a window in every direction and you can get a great cross breeze. One of the problem is, in addition to the air, you're also getting dust and stuff through those windows, so you have to stay on top of it.
Well, and it's pollen season right now, so the trees are budding and it's everywhere and it's floating in the air, and it's on us, it's on the rig, it's on everything inside the rig. So Yeah, it's definitely spring cleaning day. After 3 months, we have to remember to take our flag with us, but also the pole has seized up. So since we're just moving to our next spot and gonna put it right back up, I'm just gonna toss this in the van as is.
I was just saying that the first night we arrived here, someone was in our host site. So we had to find a random spot to park in. And I was feeling like that was just last week. And it was 3 months ago.
It went by really, really fast. Probably didn't help that most of January was cold and dark most of the time because, well, it's January. And now it's gorgeous and sunny and it's spring and the birds and the leaves are out. And so it's a little kind of hard to leave.
It is. And we do park hosting gigs usually 2 months or 3 months at a time. We've done, 4 months before. And when you are settled in somewhere for that long, at least the 3-month mark, I think, is when you really start to feel attached to a place and the people. And so it is. It's emotional. It's hard to leave the place sometimes.
It's definitely bittersweet because we're really looking forward to where we're going next. But it is hard to leave here because it's been a lot of fun. We've had a gorgeous campsite here. It's literally probably the best campsite we've ever had anywhere. So that's really hard to leave. And just everything here at Goliad State Park, whether it was like the river trail and the people and the activities that they had to do and the history and, so I'm sure we'll be back here someday. And so it's fun to move on to new adventures, but it is always hard to leave someplace. Bye. That's sad.
We backed into the new site. We checked the level, set leveling blocks, and now, according to the bubble level on my phone, the LevelMate Pro Plus Max, whatever app, and the bathroom door, we are 0 level.
And that bathroom door is important. That is the indicator that you are level. Well, at least in our trailer it is.
The machines can say you're level, but if that bathroom door swings, that's a problem, especially when you're park hosting and you're going to be somewhere for 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, you want it to not move when you open it. So anyway, so apparently we're level. Yay!
Well, we have been at Mustang Island State Park for 48 hours or so now. The rig is fully put back together inside and out. It's kind of messy in here.
Wait a minute. Messy? It's called lived in. There's decorations, our computers are set up, and yeah, it's homey. There's even fresh bread on the counter.
I did bake bread today, so you officially moved in when you started baking bread. We are here for 2 months as park hosts. I'm sure it's going to fly by. 3 months at Goliad went by in a flash, so this will be nothing at all.
No, but we're excited. We're on the beach. Well, we're not on the beach, but the park is on the beach. So it's only a 4.5-minute walk from our camper to the beach. So
you keep finding excuses throughout the day to say you need to check something outside, and I think you're wandering to the beach.
Shh. Don't tell my boss.
If you have any questions about the RV lifestyle or things we do to prepare for moving day and how we travel around, feel free to drop them in the comments section below. We're happy to answer any questions.
And I'd like to hear your tips. What do you do on moving day to pack everything up, stow it away, and get ready to travel?
It's great when we can learn from each other as a community. So I really like that. If you are going to be in the Corpus Christi, Texas area, come on down and see us at Mustang Island State Park and say hi. In the meantime, keep on trekking.
And we'll see you out there.